Welcome back into your Pick Trail Nation Report. I'm CJ Mackin, and we have Mr. Kevin McPherson in person this time. It's good to see you, man.
No Zoom?
No Zoom. No Zoom.
Okay, we tapped that on the Zoom for a while.
In action. We're in person, in action. We're at Dickey Stevens Center, and my goodness, what a display it was with the Bobby Portis Foundation Showcase. Jabari Parker showing out Bobby Portis hitting the game-winning jumper right over Jabari, and a lot of these Hogs came out as well, man. A lot of the fans came out. Talk about the day Bobby Portis and the foundation had today.
Well, you got Pro Hogs. Of course, Bobby's the headliner. This is his foundation, his celebrity game. 3-year absence because of COVID.
Yeah.
So, you know, he was excited to do this. He has multiple events, CJ, through the weekend. You know, his youth camp, which was on Friday, then his bowling event last night. He's got a gala tomorrow on Sunday. So I think the celebrity game's his favorite because he likes to play basketball. And you got former Hogs. I mean, you got Michael Qualls, Hogs great, out here doing his
throwing
thing.
Dunks down.
College teammate of Bobby's. Dusty Hannas, Daryl Maker, Alandis Harris, Ja'Cory Williams, the list goes on. And then you've got current NBA players.
That's true.
You mentioned Jabari Parker. But, you know, Bobby comes out and throws up probably 30-plus, 15 rebounds. But the big game winner.
Clutch.
This wasn't nothing silly about this.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's a celebrity game, but at the same time, you got Jabari Parker out here that knows what he's doing, and Bobby went to work.
Yeah, Javon Carter and all those guys.
Yeah,
it was a great game to see. He had a big weekend as well, giving back to a community that gave so much to him. But earlier this week, we saw the Arkansas Razorbacks full in action. Got to see both sides: Ricky Counselor, Nick Smith Jr., those guys, Anthony Black. It looked good, and of course, all the fans loved it. But in person, for me, Kevin, I think it was very, very different to see these guys because they can go on both sides of the court early.
Yeah, and I think the thing when you walk in as a media member, I've seen a lot of these guys in person, but when you see them together on the same court for the first time, it's pretty eye-popping when you see the measurables, and then when they start running up and down and you see some of the rim work.
It's totally different.
Yeah, and you're thinking, wow, there's more. Because Arkansas, when I talked to Michael Qualls earlier about it, he goes, you know, there's maybe one guy that's like that.
It's true.
Every 2 or 3 years, maybe. And now they got at least 3 guys that are just, you know, when you start talking Jordan Walsh, Ricky Council, Trevon Brazile, doing freaky stuff. And then you got other guys with size and plus athletes. I mean, Anthony Black is 6'8", pushing 6'8", point guard with a ton of facilitating skill.
Sir.
Nick Smith Jr., who can operate in many ways, score, facilitator.
Can do it all.
And then so many guys. I mean, it's just, I think this is the deepest roster that Musselman has when you talk about all that collective size, length, and athleticism. But it's also the basketball IQ that stood out to me. Guys passing up good shots for better shots for a teammate. That means that it's an unselfish team, and the more that they click like that play like that, the better it's going to be for this team moving forward. Because we're still, I mean, we haven't turned that page to August yet. They go on that foreign tour in a few days, which gives them extra at basketball, bonus time in practice. But just already seeing that on Wednesday, like you said, that 45-minute window we got, saw a lot of really good things.
Now, you talked about that foreign tour. It comes up in a couple of days. What are you looking for this basketball team to do? Now, we also talked to Muss after. He said some players will not start because some players got sent home, this, that, and the other. But what do you expect from this team on this foreign tour coming up? You got from the 6th to the 16th, so that's an 11-day trip coming up.
I expect somebody to figure out the live stream on that. We're waiting.
Please, can we get some streaming?
No, I mean, we know Musselman likes a tight 7-8 rotation when it gets real. I think this is going to be an opportunity to give everybody playing time, whether they start or not. And, you know, he just mentioned that there will be opportunities for him to tinker and look at the personnel combinations, because I don't think he has to, even if he's got a rotation in his mind, he doesn't have to drill down to that. No. He can give everybody a chance against live bullets, different competition, because it looks different than it does in practice when you play somebody new.
Yes, sir.
But again, I think when I look at the way that this roster is made, he can still play some small ball, which is what he's always done up until this season. He recruited in the offseason to get bigger, but he can also go with big lineups. So I think he's going to look at, you know, different combinations of both big and small ball and something in between. I think this will be an opportunity with those 4 games, 3 in Spain to start out, and wrap it up in Italy. But I think that gives him multiple chances to see multiple looks.
Yeah.
A guy like Eric Musselman, you give him advantages that he doesn't need.
That's true.
But he's got an advantage of getting this extra time. But it's 11 newcomers too, so I think this is perfect timing to have a foreign trip in the summer.
Just to get an early trip, I think it's perfect as well. Ricky Council. He can jump out the gym. I just wanted to add that.
He scared me.
He scared me with the 2-hand dunk.
I'm like the guy. It's all he dunks with anger.
Oh yeah, he does.
It's enough that he's rim level with his head and his eyes. But then he nothing light.
It's gonna be a lot of top
nothing light
tens.
finishing with him. He goes hard and heavy.
Nothing like it. A person who also go hard and heavy is recruiting, of course, is Eric Musselman.
Yeah.
Got to talk about the recruiting class
That's
coming in.
right.
Of course, Leighton Blocker and those guys. Talk about that, the recruiting class, and what's changed within the last couple of weeks.
I don't know that anything's changed, but I will say this. Leighton Blocker earlier today put out a tweet.
I seen it.
He's already committed, and he had 4 names on that tweet with one of those gifts where he's got a Razorback mascot doing this. And the names on it were Ron Holland, Bayfall, Asani Diop, and Wesley Yates.
Yeah.
I recently wrote a recap story on Hogville for spring and summer basketball, and I had Blocker. I had those 5 names, starting with Blocker, and then those other 4 that he tweeted today is the first 4 on my list.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably in line with what Arkansas is trying to do to finish up for that 2023 class.
Okay.
Ron Holland took the official visit in early June, right after Blocker did. 6'8" forward out of Duncanville, Texas, high school teammate of Anthony Black. So Arkansas's got ties there. Arkansas's in his final 4 college choices, plus he's looking at NBA G League Ignite. Okay. We'll see, but I think Arkansas's in great shape there. I've said for a while, and I've said it on this show weeks back, I do think Arkansas's in the lead for Bayfall, the 5-star. So you talk Ron Holland, 5-star.
Yes.
6'8". Bayfall, 6'10", 5-star out of Denver.
These kids are growing every day.
Top 15 guy, man. And he's long, he's athletic, he's active, and he's quick. He's got quickness for a big. And a guy that really knows how to man it up in the paint, defensively and offensively. And then his teammate, Asani Diop, also 6'10", more of a wing. He's a 3-4, got face-up skill, can handle it. So those guys complement each other. They're both 6'10", but they have different games. I think Arkansas is, like I said, is in the lead for both of them. I think they will be a package deal. And then you mentioned we said Wesley Yates, the big 6'4" guard that can shoot that rock out of Beaumont, Texas, Beaumont United. And I think Arkansas is still looking to get him on campus for an official visit, probably in the fall. I know that, speaking of fall, Bayfall and Asani Diop, who I just said I think Arkansas is in the lead for, they're also looking to come back for official visits. Maybe during football season, maybe that Alabama-Arkansas game in Fayetteville.
That's always a big one.
That will be
that's going to be a huge one.
If you got your pick of the litter, that's the one you want.
That's the one you want.
But, they were on campus for unofficial visits for that big win Arkansas had over Kentucky at Bud Walton Arena in February. So they met with the coaches and the team after that game in the Performance Center. So they've already been on campus. That was unofficial. They want that that official visit, more time. And so we'll see how it plays out, but I think Arkansas, when you look at 2023, we're getting a real good idea. I think taking a cue from Mr. Blocker on that tweet. And, again, like I said, I wrote about that earlier in the week, but to kind of see a player doing some player recruiting, players recruiting players, it gives you a clearer picture of where things might be.
It helps. It definitely helps. And you can see Texas still in the picture. My goodness, Texas is recruiting out of everywhere nowadays. It seems like Texas is up there with everybody, and Arkansas for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, Arkansas's trying to raid Texas, right? You got Anthony Black,
trying to raid them.
I just mentioned names, Ron Holland out of Duncanville, and then you got Wesley Yates out of Beaumont. But they've had a lot of guys they're on, even in class of 24. Dink Pate, who I've talked a lot about, top 30 guy, class of 2024, big 6'7" lead guard. Yeah. So if you think Anthony Black's a nice big lead guard, I think Musselman, Musselman likes that versatility in those 6'7" guys. Mason Jones he had running a lot of one. He's 6'5", but ever since then you look at Moses Moody, how good he was, 6'6", broad shoulder, 7+ wingspan.
Right.
But he likes those versatile guys in that size range that can defend multiple positions, 1 through 3, and then do some unique things in other areas.
Right. That's one person that very surprised me too, Anthony Black in person. You see how tall he is on paper, but in person it's a totally different ballgame.
Well, he's pushing 6'8", and he's not lanky. He's solid.
This
guy played
solid.
football. He was a football player.
He is solid.
A high-level guy. Arkansas offered him a football scholarship before he was offered the basketball scholarship. What blows me away about him is he's got NBA-level passing and court awareness
already
right now. Hasn't played a college game yet, but he just the other day when I tweeted it out, I said he's got x-ray vision, because even though he can see over defenders, even when you're out here and you can see over a guy, when there's 9 other bodies and there's a lot of traffic in the paint,
of moving parts,
even if you can see over 1 or 2, it's hard to see over all 9 others, and he sees through them, it seems like. And he puts it on the money. He threads that needle, man. And he's just and then he does other things. He defends. He rebounds. He can block shot from that point guard. You think, what else can he do? You know. So, and then you got Nick Smith Jr., who I think's an alpha. I think this guy's probably the guy that leads this team in scoring this year. And he's a guy that doesn't play selfishly, though. You saw him in practice.
He doesn't.
He was getting off the ball. He wasn't forcing things. He was efficient. in his shooting.
Yeah.
I mean, he was efficient.
He was getting guys open.
But then he was finding guys. And so with him and Anthony Black, I think
Yeah.
that's a great one, too. Jordan Walsh, the sky's the limit with that guy.
Oh, my goodness.
He comes in being a defensive ace.
Yeah.
And then I think Musman is encouraged by some of the things he's seen from him offensively because he talks about him as one of the guys from the three-point line. He thinks it's going to help Arkansas.
Yeah.
And he does have three-level ability. And you talk about Ricky Council punishing the rim. Look, Jordan Walsh, get out of the way or get on that poster because he's coming in with serious intentions to finish it.
Speaking of posters, Nick Smith Jr., he threw a lob from almost half court.
Yeah.
And Jordan Walsh threw it down with two hands.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, my goodness, this is going to be the start of a new season.
Right. It looked like they were playing on a Nerf hoop back in the garage.
I said, hey, man, look.
How easy do they make that look?
Very easy.
Tough.
Kevin, we got to meet more in person, man. This is good.
I know. We did good here. You're a little taller and better looking than me, but I'll be all right.
Oh, man, you got me in the look spot, man. All right, everyone, thanks for stopping by, man. Look, we got more Pick Trail coming up after the break. Make sure you guys don't go anywhere.